So Labour have decided they are going to train normal and competent MPs. That is a promise, a manifesto promise that their MPs will be normal from now on. Please believe us. And I thought we'd start. We'll get into that in a minute. I thought we'd start with just looking at one of their totally normal MPs, such as David Lammy, an absolute lunatic who thinks Pope Smoke is racist. And in here, he decided to also apologise for nominating Jeremy Corbyn as leader to some Jewish group, which is just okay. The Tottenham MP admitted he was staggered to learn individuals held deeply anti-Semitic views and had remained within the Labour Party. I'm absolutely shook. It's not like I was on the front bench with Jeremy for years, and everyone knows everyone in the Labour Party, so there's no way you didn't know this, but okay, he's absolutely shook that there were anti-Semites in the Labour Party. I'm sure to believe him.
I don't know how he can try and pull, like, I was clueless. It was just, I mean, it was national news, wasn't it?
Do you not remember when he did that thing? He was like, I haven't seen a copper all day, and there was a copper right behind him. So it's the same thing. I haven't seen an anti-Semite in 4 years, and just behind him is just loads of Labour Party members. Anyway.
In each side of him on the front bench, isn't it?
So, quote, I've met some of these individuals, and I'm frankly staggered that some are still in the party. They're still there. This is the best part. He just said, yeah, they're all still there. So nothing's really changed. But as a lawyer, I understand that people can appeal and go to court. There is a process which can feel slow and torturous at sometimes, but it must be undertaken. So, okay, they're going through the process of being kicked out of the party. You know, Starmer can kick them out unilaterally, and has done. He even did it to Jeremy.
They don't even need to do anything, do they? You just say, you're not in the party anymore.
Bam. Bring the party into dispute. Bye-bye. And didn't do that for these people, which David Lammy says are anti-Semites. Okay, we have it from the horse's mouth. Paying tribute to Starmer, he added, I don't believe the overall culture is toxic anymore. So, okay.
Really?
So, I mean, it was literally 4chan-esque. But don't worry, now it's like, I don't know, .gov.
Did you not see the Labour Party conference where there were more Palestinian flags than probably in Palestine itself?
I did the compilations. You
I know.
Check them out. He gave a speech there. I saw you there, David, without your mask as well, like everyone else. But okay. And he says, but it will continue trying to be a party that is genuinely welcome for everyone as we remain on a journey to nuking Israel. On nominating Jeremy Corbyn as Labour leader, one of the 35 MPs to do so in 2015, he offered an unequivocal apology. Quote, I regret nominating Jeremy Corbyn, and if I knew what I do now, I would never have nominated him. I never believed he would become leader.
What?
I nominated him to become leader because I thought he'd fail. Think about that. No, okay.
David Lammy, political strategic genius over there.
I only back causes that lose. That's why
he is in the Labour Party.
That was a mistake, and I'm sorry for that. Okay, so that's the caliber of MP you've got already, and that's front bench material right there. I think he was in charge of justice. God knows where they moved him out. And then we'll go to the future. So what is the future of the left wing in Britain? Well, normal and competent MPs. That is the promise. That is the campaign promise. Our MPs will no longer be absolute freaks.
It's just such an own goal. Just like, we were neither competent nor normal before, but we're going to do it this time.
We hope. Please believe us. The article says in here, as the group of veterans take their leave, a new generation of ambitious Labour activists aspiring to enter Parliament are waiting in the wings, the fruitcakes. Not only are the new safe seats up for taking, so too are red wall constituencies held by Tory MPs on paper-thin majorities. So this is a lot of seats they're hinting at that have been, let's say, vaguely normal people. I mean, they're still Labour, but vaguely normal.
I don't think getting in some young zealots is going to win over the disaffected working classes. I don't know.
I mean, we have a few examples of those people as well. We feature them many a time. Yeah. And they're always just a meme, quite frankly. During a meeting with the NEC late this year, Starmer told attendees that, quote, we can't afford any more Mike Hills or Claudia Webbs. Name dropping my girl Claudia there. We can't afford any more of her. The former resigned as Labour MP in Hartlepool in 2021 for claims of sexual misconduct, while the Leicester East MP, Webb, was expelled from the party after being found guilty of harassment. This is where she was threatening her lover's ex with throwing acid in her face, and at the same time being like, I stand for women's rights in Afghanistan. Even though you're doing the same thing as the Taliban radio. Further quote, we need a new intake of Labour MPs to reflect the diversity of the country and have the key set of skills to be potential government ministers, Carter Hurst added. And
how are they going to have the potential skills to be government ministers?
But also, do you not see that you got Claudia Webb because of diversity hires. Like, we went through it. She was literally picked because diversity. And now you're like, yes, so now we need MPs that reflect the diversity of the country. You want less Claudia Webbs by doing the things that got you Claudia Webb. And that's going to make normal MPs. Learn nothing, so nothing's going to change. That's at least good to know. Continues. In July this year, Labour launched its Future Candidates Programme, which offered aspiring MPs the opportunity to join a bespoke course aimed at moulding the party's next generation of prospective parliamentary candidates. So they're going to try to carefully pick out the lunatics, is the idea. Thousands of Labour members applied to the programme, but only 360 people were selected onto the programme by the party. Some argued applications belonging to Labour's left-leaning factions were deliberately rejected by the party. One candidate who didn't make the scheme suggested that identity politics were a factor at play. Yes, as stated by the person running it, that said they wanted the diversity of the country.
Wait,
why are you complaining?
someone in the Labour Party's complaining about identity politics?
Someone in the left factions in the Labour Party is like, identity politics, not having this. Only when it hurts them. As soon as it hurt their chances, they're like, well, this
it all
is
makes sense now.
Yeah. So I don't get what his problem is with that, by his own logic. One senior Labour activist told Politics Home that a standout characteristic among those being groomed by the party is the quality of being, quote, normal. Can we please have normal people?
That's such a high bar.
Yeah.
Like parliamentarians from, you go back through the years, they're well-spoken, well-educated.
Can we at least have them not screeching every 5 minutes?
Just want them to be normal, please.
Could we try get ones that don't threaten people with acid
I imagine,
off in office?
I imagine Keir Starmer gave this direction whilst rocking in a corner.
Everyone around me is mad. Quote, they're normal people that haven't got the sort of wild hobby horses which are so far out of the interests of ordinary people, they said. They're not people who bang on every 5 minutes about Cuba or Venezuela. They are in touch with modern Britain and where it is today. Don't worry, they only bang on about their pronouns every 5 minutes instead of Cuba and Venezuela, presumably. And also that rapists should be sent to female prisons. I'm in touch with the people of England. And if you doubt that maybe they think that the rapists might go to female prisons, or even just if they're foreign, not go to prison at all, we can check in with another MP, another normal MP. I love how I feel like there should be a quote. Like every time you write like Labour, normal Labour MP, Lisa Nandy.
Just the prefix to any MP from Labour.
The right honourable is the normal. Anyway, so this is Lisa Nandy here, and this is quite a sad story, and it is kind of a bummer to end on, but I want to demonstrate it because I can't really believe it, frankly. But is it real? And as you can see here, this is her account, and she's celebrating Refugees Welcome back in, what was this, 2015? Before the Mama Merkel situation in 2016, and the subsequent just absolute failures to even enforce borders across Europe. We can click on that first image there, because I want people to remember this, which is that all of these people who engaged in this campaign, quite frankly, evil. We're not thinking in the slightest of any of the people in this country. So Refugees Welcome Wiggum there. Very proud of what she's doing. Standing there with her Labour Party store behind her, Labour Party stickers, all that stuff. Well, how did that go? Well, we can go to her constituency and have a check-up, shall we? Let's go to the next link, please. Man accused of Wigan town centre rape. Man, just a local man, a Wiganite. His family's been there 200 years.
Whenever they don't specify, it's always like a red flag that something's going on.
Is it a trans man? I don't know. Would they tell us? They wouldn't if it was. A Wigan hotel resident has been accused of rape. Hotel resident.
I get the feeling that they weren't just there on their holidays, were they?
Well, he works down at the pub and he couldn't go abroad, so he went to the local hotel for a holiday. Who's his name? Abalobo Okbazge.
Nailed it.
Beautiful British name. 26 of the Britannia Hotel is there. He appeared in court, and the borough justices brought charges of serious sexual assault of a woman on Saturday, December 18th, in the Wigan town centre. Because of the seriousness of the allegation, the case was immediately sent to be heard by Bolton Crown Court, and Okbaze was...
Okbazge?
Okbage.
That's definitely not it.
I don't give a toss. He's accused of rape. I'm not being polite to him. Who has yet to enter a plea, was remanded in custody until the first appearance in January 24th. So we will get his plea then in the new year. And the thing is, Nandy knew about this situation with the hotel residents. It's not the rest of just the staff of the hotel. Like, no, it is residents, and they're all asylum seekers in the Britannia Hotel, apparently. Let's go to the next link.
It's kind of rubbing our noses in it that it's the Britannia Hotel as well.
I put an archive link in the reading list for that because I swear if they try and change that, cover up the... Whoever wrote that article, there's something deeply wrong with you, frankly. Anyway, so let's read this one. This is back when I can say that she knew about this situation. MP calls for Wigan Hotel to stop housing asylum seekers after an incident involving schoolgirl. So security has been stepped up and the council is in talks with the firm management of asylum seekers at Wigan Hotel amid claims of schoolgirls being watched and harassed. She knew. She knew that this was a situation. Called for it to be changed. Why did she call for it to be changed? Quite noble, you know. Maybe she realised that there were problems and therefore we need to solve these problems. She didn't, but we'll get to it. Several parents of the Standish area have told Wigan Today that they are stopping their daughters from going out because groups of men have allegedly been filming their PE lessons at a local high school, winking and passing comments at them in the street, and in one instance, surrounding a 12-year-old girl and filming her. This was 10 men who surrounded her. We'll get to that full story in a minute. These aren't light things. These are horrific things to be happening in a local area, especially when it's right next to goddamn school.
And it didn't have to happen at all.
Refugees welcome. Where is this? As you can see there, listed just on that image, the Britannia Hotel. It is exactly the same place. And, well, Lisa Nandy had something to say. Wigan MP Lisa Nandy said she was appalled that the Britannia Hotel in Standish was being used to accommodate vulnerable asylum seekers.
What?
What?
The asylum seekers are the victims, apparently.
The vulnerable nonces. I mean, oh woe with the plight of those nonces who decided to skip every safe country on their way here. They're alleged to be nonces, and you're like, well, these vulnerable asylum seekers are... It's really horrible that they're in the hotel. Why? Because girls are being harassed? No, because they're vulnerable.
And
not the girls.
I think it's gone unmentioned the fact that these so-called asylum seekers, they have supposedly smartphones that they're doing these recordings on. They can't be that hard done by if they can afford...
They're all from France. They're not asylum seekers. You've gone from multiple safe countries.
Of course, yeah.
Why did you come here? Apparently the benefits is in the noncery. Because
they're economic migrants, aren't they? They're not...
Well, in this case, alleged nonces.
Well,
so that seems to be their profession rather than skimming off money. And she continues, several years after both the Home Office and services operator Serco accepted that it was completely unsuitable for the purpose and has done so with no notice or consultation with the police, council, herself, or the local community. Why did they accept that that hotel was not suitable for the purpose? Because of the horrible rooms. That's why Lisa Nandy's upset. As she says, the vulnerable asylum seekers. Not the fact that they're trying to nonce on schoolgirls nearby. No.
Well, the rooms in the hotel aren't good enough.
It's vulnerable asylum seekers, mate. She demanded that the arrangements end again as soon as possible. Well, I thought refugees welcome. I thought you wanted this. You were the one demanding this. Anyway. So there's also the quite sad fact. I really hope this isn't representative of Wigan. If you live in Wigan, please send us some messages of sanity. You know, there are some sane people here. We have some quotes from the locals who apparently are not outraged by all this. One mum said, the behaviour of a small number of men from the Britannia Hotel has been causing a lot of upset. They clearly need educating. If you flee from your own country and want to be accepted in a new one, you need to learn how the new country's ways, which you would think quite based. But she ends that with, the last thing we want is all the right-wing thugs using this as an excuse to bring their toxic messages to Wigan again and whipping up racism. I would have thought that the last thing we wanted was child rape. No, apparently racism is more and more... No, that's more of a threat to the world. People being racist, not child rapists. I mean, these people you are saying yourself are alleged to be noncing on your kids, and you're like, this is terrible, because if they nonce on their kids... the backlash against them from racism will be unbearable. This
has echoes of like, oh, we can't have another terrorist attack because the backlash against the Muslim community will be terrible.
Literally what she's saying. Like, we can't allow them to actually rape our daughters because the backlash against these poor asylum seekers will be unbearable. From the far right-wing thugs. Racism. Like, actual NPC. Nandy responded with a quote saying, the Home Office must stop treating councils and communities with contempt and work with our local authority to ensure suitable alternative accommodation. She said that she was appalled that the Home Secretary Priti Patel hasn't even had the courtesy to respond to a letter of concern she had sent to her on the issue. I imagine Priti Patel, quite frankly, just sent Joker memes back, being, you get what you effing deserve, Lisa.
Yeah, suitable accommodation is a different country. How about that?
That is what suitable accommodation is. Lisa Nandy can't accept that, apparently. And further quote in here. So this is the worst story in here. I mentioned as well that the staring at the PE lessons, all of that stuff, and now apparently an alleged rape has taken place. Don't know if there was a child that was raped or not, because the Wigan Today didn't list it, along with not listing that it was a guy who's obviously an asylum seeker from the Britannia Hotel. They didn't say that at all in their article, so hard to tell. But Vicky says that more needs to be done. So this is another mother. Her daughter, whom we are not naming, was not approached at school or going home time, but at 8 p.m. on a popular walkway called The Line. Quote, she was coming down the line when she saw around 10 men standing in a row, all looking at her. She got in a panic and didn't know what to do. As she got closer to one of them started filming her with his phone. He said, stop, and then they circled around her so she could not get away. They said, come with us, and she started crying. Then she spotted a man she knew by sight. Now we know he is called Ross Pilkington. Chad, in this story, actually saves this girl from what could have been awful, because he had become a bit of a local hero because of all this. And she managed to duck between two of the men and run towards Ross Pilkington, who was with his little boy and dog, and they escorted her home.
Very English name there.
She says,
telling, isn't it?
I dread to think what would have happened if he hadn't been there.
Good for him.
You can guess. We rang the police straight away. Our daughter was sure that she could identify 5 out of the 10 of them. Some of them were quite familiar around here. They seem to have a particular interest in girls. There could be the most stunning mum walking down the street, but it's their school-aged daughters that they're winking at, trying to beckon away. It's a quote from the mother. You can imagine the problem she's got with her daughter now, who doesn't want to go out, and a big shock.
No, I don't blame her, of course not.
So apparently she's got to escort her around. And it's not just her. There's all the other mums who have to escort their kids around constantly now, because hashtag refugees welcome. This is you, Lisa Nandy. You did this. These people have no right to be in this country more than anyone else. They are from France, and you know it. And that's a safe country. And instead, you brought them to Wigan. And the end of this, I just have to mention, which is the incident happened on September 7th. And this week, the police concluded that no offence was committed.
No offence,
No
really?
offence. I presume because it's a one interaction, they didn't actually rape her. Therefore, no offence is
Aren't they
committed.
trying to coerce a minor, surely? That's got to be...
I would have thought so.
They're surrounding her and then telling her to come with them. That should be a crime.
Yeah, well, apparently we had to wait, and now some man has been charged with raping, which, again, I'm sure he's just a hotel resident. I mean, that's a new one. I mean, try that on. We won't say the name or where he's from. He's a hotel resident. Sorry I went on a bit of a bummer, and I know the outro on this clip is going to be like, if you enjoyed this segment, I did, no. But that's the state. That is the state of the normal Labour MPs. So for them even saying we're going to bring in normal MPs, what you already class as normal are people like Lisa Nandy, who have done such horrible things to their own constituency. And go to hell. I hate the Labour Party. If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast, The Lotus Eaters, you can go over to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site. You can also check out this video, for example, the feminist argument for abolishing the family from Vice, who are arguing for this, in which John and Carl go through it and take a look at the arguments. I'm sure they're very strong. If you'd like to find out what else is coming out on the website, you can always go over to Getter. That's lotuseaters_com for the Getter account. Thank you and goodbye.